Talking with the experts.
In episode 346, Emee Estacio explains how to grow your business with a best-selling book and why it's really good for your business.
Yes. So, as you know, as with anything, there are pros and cons to going through the self-publishing route or going traditionally published. I'm both. I have traditionally published books, and I also fully embrace the self-publishing path because it gives us more autonomy in terms of what we are publishing, when we are publishing, and what we're going to use the books for. So if you are someone, an online business owner or just an entrepreneur generally, who would want to use your book as a way, for example, to grow your business, to use it as a lead generating machine, or to use it as an asset, self-publishing is a really great way to increase that visibility, and you'll have more autonomy and control as to what is included in your book and how you're going to use it. And in turn,
Welcome to Talking with the Experts. This is where we discuss great ideas to take your business to the next level. How do we know these ideas work? Well, it's because we're talking with business owners who are using these ideas. Business owners who have years of experience and expertise. All things business by business owners for business owners. And now, here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. You can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. Have you ever thought about writing a book? Now, as business owners, we all have a lot of information in our heads. I know that for a fact. But getting it out onto paper or into an audiobook is a totally different kettle of fish. And my next guest, Emee Estacio, is going to be discussing with us how to grow our businesses with a best-selling book. Now, Emee is a 3 times #1 best-selling author. She's a psychologist and the founder of Self-Publishing Made Simple. She helps successful entrepreneurs, coaches, and visionaries expand their reach by writing and publishing their books on the world's largest online book retailer, Amazon. Self-publishing on Amazon is a great way to build your brand and attract clients. Through her online programs and signature Get It Done hub, she guides her students through a proven self-publishing process to successfully launch a book on Amazon to #1 bestseller status, even without a publicist. A very interesting conversation. Welcome, Emee, and thank you so much for joining me today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Rose.
Now, we all have information that we have stored away. We have blogs that we've written. We've got, perhaps if people have a podcast, so they've got, the transcripts from those that they could turn into a blog, but they don't think about writing a book about, their experiences. How can they do that and not be, totally overwhelmed with the whole process?
Yes, there's actually this missed opportunity that so many business owners have this untapped resources. They would, as you've said, they will have podcasts, blogs, social media content, even speaking engagements, conferences, and so on. They actually already have the material that could make up a good book. And the thing about using your existing content into a book is that it already reinforces the message and the positioning that you want to have in your business, and being able to have this converted into a book reinforces that message. So to answer your question, what I do with business owners, especially the busy ones who already have an existing content, is to actually explore and map out their business funnel first and foremost to see where a best-selling book might fit in. Is it going to be at the start of your business funnel? It's like the entry level where you introduce yourself as the expert, to your audience, or is it in the nurture sequence of your funnel, wherein you already have existing clients and you present your resource as an additional, your book as an additional resource in your funnel? So first and foremost, you need to map out your business funnel and see where a book will fit in. Is it for reach, lead generation? Is it for nurturing? And so on and so forth. And after that, when you understand where your book fits in, you can actually see if you have existing content that you can repurpose. Because as we know, audiences, different people can digest and take information in different ways. Some people would like to read, some people would like to listen, some people would like to engage with you one to one. We consume information in different ways. And having your existing content reformatted and repurposed as a print book, as an audiobook, or as a Kindle version of that information, it's really making the most of what you already have and tapping into this additional resource and creating an evergreen asset that you can use in your business over and over again.
Mm, very interesting, very interesting. And I know we all have this content somewhere, stuck in our files. But, is it self-publishing or let me start that again. To be self-published, I think that's where people find it quite challenging. Is it better to, self-publish or go through a publisher?
Yes. So, as you know, as with anything, there are pros and cons to going through the self-publishing route or going traditionally published. I'm both. I have traditionally published books, and I also fully embrace the self-publishing path because it gives us more autonomy in terms of what we are publishing, when we are publishing, and what we're going to use the books for. So if you are someone, an online business owner or just an entrepreneur generally, who would want to use your book as a way, for example, to grow your business, to use it as a lead generating machine, or to use it as an asset, self-publishing is a really great way to increase that visibility, and you'll have more autonomy and control as to what is included in your book and how you're going to use it. And in terms of it's gonna be so complicated, you don't know what to do with it, how are you going to, there are so many steps involved in self-publishing. To be perfectly honest, that's one of my biggest fears when I started self-publishing, because as a traditionally published author, I essentially just wrote my stuff. I know my stuff inside out. I am an expert in my field. That's the easy part. But the thought of having to publish it myself, thinking about where would I find my editor, my cover designer, how am I gonna distribute it and market it, da 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 da, that really freaked me out. And what I would say to business owners who are feeling the same way, you are not the first to self publish, and you certainly won't be the last. There are people who have done it before, and you can learn from their experience, connect with people who can guide you through this process. As business owners, we know the value of coaching, we know the value of connecting with people and learning from mentors and people who have done it before. It's the same thing with self-publishing. And the truth is, you don't have to do this on your own. You don't have to design your own cover, and you don't have to market the stuff yourself. You can hire your editor, you can hire your cover designer, you can learn about proven launch sequences, so you don't have to start from scratch and think about how you're going to publish this. And for me, as the founder of Self-Publishing Made Simple, tapping into Amazon leverages that existing platform. There are already millions of users on that platform, and when you put your book out there, when you put your book on Amazon, you're tapping into that resource. You're actually putting your book in front of the millions of people already using that platform. The only thing you need to do really now is to understand how that platform works, understanding the algorithm, what's the best way to make your book visible on that platform, and really capitalizing on that. You don't have to start from scratch. So the short answer to your question, for people who are feeling overwhelmed, especially business owners who are incredibly busy, First of all, you can hire a mentor, a coach who can guide you through this process. You don't have to start from scratch. You can build a team, a self-publishing team, and hire your cover designer, your formatter, your marketing team as well to help you out in your launch. And third, you can tap into Amazon and leverage the power of that platform. Use their algorithm so Amazon can do the heavy lifting of marketing the book for you and putting your brand and your book in front of the potentially millions of users who are already on there and looking for a book like yours. And that's a surefire way to reach more people, grow your business, and elevate your brand.
Mm. What find a little bit challenging is all of the categories that you can actually publish your book under. So, if you're a business owner, say you're a service provider like myself, and I mean, I've got a book written already. It's just a matter of putting it out there. But it's the category. How do you choose the best category to list your book under that so that it gets more eyes?
Yes, this is where my nerdy hat comes in. I absolutely love category research. I do spend time with my students exploring the categories, and what I tell them is when you upload your book on Amazon, it's actually going to ask you for two categories. And for most authors, because they don't know that they could ask for more, they only add their books in the two general categories that's presented to you when you upload your book. The truth is, you can ask KDP support, Kindle Direct Publishing, to add your book in 10 categories. So that will allow you to spread your visibility more widely and cast your book as widely as possible. That's the first thing. The other thing is you can really niche down as much as possible, because if you put your book, let's say, for example, on nonfiction, self-help, and then self-improvement, all niche down, your book is going to appear in the self-development, self-help, and nonfiction categories, but that only counts as one of your 10 categories. So in terms of being strategic, first of all, you can choose 10 categories. Second, you can go as niche down as possible. So you're tapping into the broad categories, and you're tapping into the niche categories as well. And third, I would encourage you to do the market research, to do your category research, and identify competitive categories, quote unquote easy categories, and what I would say the Goldilocks categories, not so competitive but not so easy either. Because if you are putting yourself, for example, in the competitive categories, when you launch your book properly, with a launch sequence and promo schedule and so on, it might be difficult to, for example, beat Brene Brown off the top spot, because you might need 10,000 sales a day or something like that. That would be really challenging. However, it's not that difficult to put your book in the top 20, for example, even if you don't hit the top spot in those competitive, super competitive categories as a new release, and your book is appearing in the top 20, you still get eyeballs for your book. You still get visibility. So be quite strategic. You can identify competitive categories, so you go side by side with all these heavyweights in your niche. It's such amazing to see your book side by side with the people you look up to in your niche. But also you can identify, quote unquote, relatively easy, not very competitive categories, those categories that are really super niche down, that there's not a lot of competition there. That's a surefire way to get the bestseller badge, to get the number one spot in these categories. But it does take a bit of research, it does take a bit of digging around and really understanding what the numbers mean and how the algorithms work. So again, if I could recap what I just said there, first of all, you can identify 10 categories, not just two. All you need to do is reach out to KDP support. Second, you can go as niche down as you can, so you can identify the broad categories and the very niche categories under those broad categories, so your book appears in all of these categories. And third, be quite strategic, identify popular categories, identify quote unquote non-competitive categories, easy categories, and also my Goldilocks categories, the not so competitive but not dead either. So,
Yeah.
be quite strategic and do your research.
Do you need an ISBN to put your book on Amazon?
Okay, this is no, people are quite split about this. If you are an online entrepreneur and you're thinking about just having your book on Amazon and you're not thinking about going into libraries or traditional bookstores, then Amazon can provide you with their free ISBN. So with the Kindle version, we have what you call the ASIN, the Amazon number, for the ebooks. That's free. For paperback and hardcover, they can also provide you with the free ISBN, and that works just fine for many online entrepreneurs because they're not really thinking about using their books and putting it out on bookstores and so on. So using the free ISBN could work just fine. However, if you are someone who would like to build your publishing empire, and that's actually the main that's your main business model, you're not really selling anything else but books, and your target is to put your book out there in bookstores and libraries and so on. If that's the case, then you might consider investing in your own ISBN, because some bookstores, they're not really warm towards the free ISBNs, from Amazon. So you have to consider what your goals are, what your business goals are. If your aim is just to put your book out there on Amazon, maybe print some of your books as well for you get author copies on Amazon, the free ISBN is fine. But if you want to build your publishing empire and just really have this strong visibility in bookstores and so on, then you might want to consider investing in your own ISBNs. And actually, I do have clients who would get their own ISBNs, and I would tell them, buy the pack of 10. Don't just
Yeah.
buy one at a time, buy the pack of 10, because for every format that you have, print, Kindle, audiobook, hardcover, it will need a separate ISBN. And every time you update your book, it will need another ISBN. So if you're looking at the long term, and if you are going for that path that you want to build your publishing empire, getting your own ISBN will be the answer for you. But if it
Yeah. Now
is
we
just
must
solely Amazon,
explain what an ISBN actually is for those who don't know.
yes, the ISBN is that unique number that would identify that particular book of yours and that particular format and that particular edition, that particular cover. So the ISBN is that unique indicator, that unique number that will identify your book in this catalog of books in the world.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, just for those who didn't know, because it's an acronym that people may not be aware that they need to have when they publish a book. So
Yes, and
yeah.
yeah, for many authors, that's why with Amazon, Kindle Direct Publishing, that's what it's called. When you upload your books on Amazon, it couldn't be any simpler because Amazon can provide that for you.
Mm,
And when it comes to payment processing, printing, distribution, if you go on print on demand with Amazon, they'll take care of that too. So, if you really just want to have a book, have that visibility, get that number one bestseller status, going through the Kindle Direct Publishing, self-publishing path would be the simplest way to do it, because really all you have to do is write your book well. Make sure that you're presenting, your best foot forward, and let Amazon do all that technical, payment
mm.
processing, distribution kind of stuff. They can deal with that without you having to worry about it.
Now, when you're writing your book, is it advisable to have graphics or images inside your book?
All right. Well, that would depend entirely on what kind of book you're writing. For many online entrepreneurs, especially for those who are presenting themselves as experts, it can be quite useful to have images and graphics also inside your book, because it gives the reader, in this day and age we are a visual, a very visual society. And sometimes words might not be enough, so having some flow charts, for example, and having some graphics, not unless you're doing like a children's book, obviously you'll need your illustrations and so on, but it does help to have images and figures, illustrations inside your book every now and then, to add to the experience, the reading experience of your readers as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think I like pictures because they can explain something, sometimes a lot better than, or they give a different perspective to what's written. So you can actually understand more clearly, I guess, what the author is trying to say. If there's a graphic there next to it, um, as you say, a graph or an image or something there that explains, what you're talking about. I find them
Yeah.
quite useful. Mm.
And for me, because my most of my books are, well, all of my books are actually in psychology, and sometimes I talk about theories of self, and all sorts of theories. Sometimes it could get lost in the words, and when you have diagrams and images that can convey all of those words in one image, it's easier for the reader to actually digest the message that you're trying to convey.
Mm.
And for people who are, for example, if your audience are super busy, they're just skimming through your books, but you really want to hone in on that message, the images and diagrams can really help them to digest that information in a short amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Emmy, where can people find you if they'd like to work with you?
For sure. Well, I'm active on Instagram now. I hesitated for a long time, but I'm actually having fun on Instagram right now. So you can follow me at Emee_Estacio on Instagram, or you can join our free community on Facebook called Self Publishing Made Simple. So you can, dive in there, connect with other authors who have already published their books, got to number one bestseller, and when it's your turn to publish as well, we'll come and celebrate with you and show you that there is a very specific process that you need to follow to get your book published and launched to number one bestseller. There is a strategy to it. Don't just hit the publish button, cross your fingers, and hope for the best. And if you'd like to learn more about that, come and follow me on Instagram at Emee_Estacio, or join us in our free Facebook community, Self Publishing Made Simple.
Wonderful. I'm going to go and do that directly. Emmy, do you have any words of wisdom that you'd like to share, or some other tidbit or offer or whatever?
Oh, sure. For the business owners out there who are thinking about writing and self-publishing a book, and you're hesitating because you would think, I don't have the time, or maybe imposter syndrome is creeping in. It's like, oh, I don't have what it takes to write a book. What I have to say is, always remind yourself of who you're serving and what your purpose is. Because if you're holding back and downplaying what you have to offer, then it's you're not really serving anyone as a result of that. And there are people out there whose lives you can touch because you have written your book. So if you are hesitating, you just really need to shift that mindset. Think about who you're serving, and for sure there are people whose lives you can actually touch because you have written and published your book. So lean into that. And if you do need that extra support because you're only human and mindset can be a bit tricky sometimes, come and connect with me. I'm a psychologist as well. We can play with that and, have a strategy in place to make sure that what you've written actually gets out there and reaches the people who need to reach it the most.
Emmy, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for those words, because I'm sure that a lot of us need to get out of our own way and make that commitment to get our books published, because I know we all have one in us, whether it's to do with business or personal or self-help, whatever. I think it's in us. All of us have the ability to write a book, and we should all do one.
Absolutely. Share what you've got and the world will love it,
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the Experts.